Hello and welcome to Las Blancas Podcast.
I'm your host Yash Thakur, and we are back with another episode of Las Blancas. This time we were up against Deportivo La Coruña in the league. We ended up winning the game, and the scoreline would suggest that it was a comfortable win, but it was anything but that. And we'll get into all of that. The scoreline was 1-4. Depor scored first and led for most of the game, and we came into play in the final 15-20 minutes of the game. We'll talk about all of that, and this pod is going to be a bit special because we have a guest on the pod. Somebody who has been on the pod before, somebody who is a great friend of ours, and is also a women's football expert for anything in Spain and anything across the globe. You can come to her with any questions and she'll answer you. So a very good friend of mine and Kanita's both. So we have Isa with us, who is also a Depor fan. So we will get some insights on Depor about how their season has been and everything. But before we get into the game and before we get into all the talking points from this game, I've got Kanita and Isa. So how are you guys doing? Kanita?
Yeah, honestly, I'm so excited to have this combination of the three of us, and I know how interesting it's been to synchronize the schedules. But we got Isa with us, and I'm so glad to hear from her now. We've had her in the athletic pods, and so now we have Depor back in the first division, and yeah, I mean, welcome back. And yeah, man, the game was really annoying. Like, I'm annoyed for the game. I'm really annoyed. Like, the last 12 minutes, just, like fix it, kinda. But, it just doesn't help the rest of it. Yeah. Excited for Isa, so yeah. Hello, Isa.
Hi. Well, I'm pretty great. Actually, thank you for having me again. This time, on something different. I'm sure everyone will appreciate me talking about something else that's not athletics failure. So today I'm gonna talk about Depor failure. Like, yeah, that's just my relationship with football. Like my tips are a failure, but that's okay. It's great to be here.
No, your
Okay.
teams are not failures. They are just not performing that well right now. But actually, like it wasn't that bad of a game, even though you guys came into this game in pretty bad form, to be honest. Like you guys had four straight losses, had scored what, one goal in those four games as well. Overall, this season as well, like if you look at just the table, you guys had scored just five goals before this game. In this game, you scored your sixth goal of the season, and there has been a managerial change as well at Depor at this stage. So, what has been your assessment of Depor's season so far, and like what has gone wrong, what has gone right according to you this season?
Well, I think that Depor got up to the first division. Not, it wasn't easy. Like the team wasn't convincing when they got up. Like they almost shut it at the end. Like they got up to the first division because it was really difficult not to get to. Like they were in a position that it was really hard to screw up, and they almost screw it up. Like it was really hard. Like, so yeah, we went into the preseason like with a lot of doubts already. Like you could really see the players didn't have that much confidence in Irene because the season wasn't great. Like she did some strange things, and actually in the first division, Irene was doing a better job than on the second division. Like it might not make much sense from the outside, but to me it makes sense because Irene is a manager that can maximize when she has very little. And Depor on the second division was like the top team alongside Barça B, so it was more difficult for her to manage that than to come into the first division and be an underdog, a team that's just fighting relegation. So yeah, getting into that, we've had some good performances. Like I believe if all the matches were like 70 minutes long, like Depor will be up on the table. The problem is like in the 70 minutes, like they just don't have the physicality to stay there. Like the squad is really incomplete. Like the sporting director is useless. He barely didn't make any signings. Like all the signings he could make that were loans were like he took Oriana Altuve, who was retiring in Saudi Arabia, and took one of the worst players on the league, like from Sporting de Huelva, who got relegated with like 2 points. She got their winger, I think she's from Slovakia, Patricia Embrova. And then there's Barbara Latorre, who is also like close to retiring, didn't even play at Roma. So yeah, the only good signings he made were because they were loans. So yeah, the squad is pretty much unbalanced and complete. So it's really difficult to compete in like this. But they don't defend that bad. Like from the other teams that are close to relegation, they probably defend the best, but they don't really have a lot of tools in attack. Like you have good players, yes. I know Marin, Milene Cabral, they are very good, but they get like 3 balls a match. You can do nothing with that. Like it's really difficult to score when you can go up and attack with sense. And it's been alright. Like, yeah, I wouldn't have sacked Irene if I'm honest. I don't think that there wasn't something wrong with what she was doing. It's just that there's something wrong with how the squad was built in the summer. For me, that's the bigger problem Depor has.
Yeah, and looking at your players, and you mentioned that some of the better signings that you guys have made are all loan deals. But you guys also have a sort of like Depor and Real Madrid have this sort of some common players that that have played for Tacon before when we were Tacon, now are currently in Depor. We have one player who started this game as well, who used to be in Depor earlier. So one player that I am particularly interested in, and that is also currently a part of Real Madrid as well, and is out on loan. A young player who has shown a lot of potential in youth tournaments. How has Olaya been, or how has Olaya's season been thus far with Depor?
Well, from you have in mind what I said earlier about Depor doesn't really attack and they struggle to come forward. So yeah, of course that affects Olaya. She's an attacking player, so she hasn't really had the chance to show herself. What she has played, she has done really well. Like she's played different positions. She has played as a left winger. She has played as an attacking midfielder. Uh, I've been told that against Granada she played alongside like in the double pivot, but I couldn't watch that much because I was working, and when I saw that they lost 5-0, so I didn't really have the heart to watch that. But yeah, she's been good. Like she's really what I like the most about Olaya is her energy. She's always working, like she's a workhorse, um uh she's not afraid to get her hands dirty. Like when the only win we've had against Madrid CFF in Riazor, she was like really going for it after pressing the Madrid players and like just wasting time and having a lot of, I don't know how to say, like she's really intense, like she has passion for the game, and she's also really technical. She's done some good stuff technically as well. In the match against Levante Badalona, for example, she showed some details that for me were world class. So maybe it wasn't entirely the right move for her, like,
Mm.
because she's gonna have to do a lot of dirty work at Depor. It's not gonna be easy for her, unless we like suddenly start dominating more the matches and more attacking chances can be had. But I don't think a counter attack style really benefits Olaya that much.
Mm. Yeah, she has always like for me watching her at the youth tournaments and all, I think the role that I would fit her best, and the fact that you mentioned that she is also very intense and she likes to go for every ball, she likes to commit, isn't afraid to get her hands dirty as well. I think that fits in very well in a sort of a box to box role that allows her that sort of freedom to attack as well. The reason that I was excited for her moving to Depor was because of Irene. When Irene was there, I expected her to sort of be play a slightly more important role at Depor, but that hasn't entirely been the case. But I think she has still played 500 odd minutes and she has started a fair few games as well. So I think like it would be a good uh, it will be good to look at her when we face Depor again later on in the season, and we get you back to get a fair picture about how her season has been. It's still like not that we are not that deep into the season. There's still like 50% of the season yet to go. So there's still games to be played, and there will be other competitions as well. So hopefully she does well. She gets some game time. But let's get into this game currently. Let's talk about the lineups first, and then I'll take you guys thoughts on it. I'll just quickly read the lineup. So we had Misa in goal. Again, we made a lot of changes because I think we have one eye on the Chelsea game during the midweek, which
Hopefully.
is which is for me a bit odd because we need I think we need some consistency in the lineup anyway, but also like Chelsea game, it's Chelsea away as well, I think. So it's going to be very, very difficult.
No, at
So
home, at home.
it's at home, okay.
Hmm.
So it's Chelsea at home, but still like Chelsea have not lost any game. Just drew. They just drew their recent game against Leicester. So that is the first points drop for them. So hopefully they continue that dropping points against us as well. But we made a quite a few changes with one eye on that game. I'll quickly read the lineup. It was Misa in goal, Antonia as the right back, Rocio and Maria Mendes as the centre back, Olga as always starting as the left back, a midfield double pivot of Melanie Leopolds and Tere Abelera. And Tere is somebody who has previously played for Depor as well before joining us. Used to be really good. Everyone would remember her for scoring that goal against Barcelona. But yeah, I mean, she was a really good player at Depor. She has been a really good player for us. She has been a really good player for our national team as well. The front four was very interesting. It was Eva Navarro, Caroline Muller, Atenea, and Alba Redondo. So, Kanita, what was your initial reaction when you saw that lineup, and what did you make of it, seeing that many changes?
Okay, so first of all, Atenea is also Depor, famously, from
Yeah,
Depor. So yeah,
yeah.
just gonna mention that. So yeah, um, seven changes. I was really annoyed. We said we'd stop counting. I just can't. It's an addiction at this point. It's so frustrating that I just have to count. Seven changes. It's annoying. I mean, listen, I do get that. I hope this is, in preparation for the Chelsea game. I hope we do have this in mind. We'll see how that goes. Like 2 days or whatever. And but it's still annoying, to see this many changes. The entire midfield is changed, and the entire idea, just the entire idea of how to play is changed with these players. I'm not surprised about the right back once again. We have three right backs. He rotates them every time, and this is, the third game in a row that we have the third different right back starting. So, it's
Yeah,
annoying.
the funny thing is like Shayla played a very good game. She was the MVP in
Yeah,
that game. She got benched the next game. Oyane, decent game, got benched the next game. Now, and for me at least, Antonia is not even a right back, to be honest.
yeah,
I think she is a right center back, but whatever. So yeah, I mean, changes and all is fine. And you know, we made a lot of changes. It was an away trip, this one. And I think looking at Depor's lineup, they started in a back three and they were consistently throughout the game, they were in a back five. Isa, is this something that has been the case for throughout the season, or when coming up against big sides, have Depor regularly shaped up as a back five or a back three, or was it just the case in this game?
Well, Irene usually plays with 3-5-2. This was a 3-4-3, but yeah, she has done this against Barca and Atletico de Madrid, for example. And this coach, I don't really know him, but I've been told that he always plays with a 3-4-3. Like he can be asked to use another option. Like he's obsessed with 3-4-3, and it's 3-4-3 or nothing. This is something people that know him have told me, because when they announced him, I had no idea who he was.
Okay, so in general, so Depor this season, have they played a back four or a back three?
It has been a back three against Barca and Atletico, and a back four against the other teams.
Okay, so this is something that, when coming up against bigger sides, usually Depor take this route of playing with a back five, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, so that is what I was expecting as well, looking back at some of the numbers from their games and some of the lineups that they had put out earlier before this game. But let's get let's talk a little bit about Depor's lineup. So I mentioned that they had some of the players that used to previously play for us, and we also had Atenea and we have Teres in the starting lineup. So there is this sort of you know common string that connects Depor and Real Madrid. So we had Samara as well starting in this game. For listeners, I think a lot of the listeners would recognize that name, Samara Ortíz. One half of the Ortiz twins that used to play for us at CD Tacon. She started this game as the right wing back, and I think she had a very good game as well in general. And on the bench, you guys had Johanna as well, at the goalkeeper that we used to have at when we were Tacon. Uh, you have Olaya, obviously, who is still a part of Real Madrid. So, it was nice to have these sort of little stories about players who have played for both clubs. I always find it fascinating when they face off. And I think Samara really did have a quite a good game. I think she had something on her that she wanted to prove against us, because she was really really good in that game. Has Samara been this good in general this season, Isa?
Yeah, she has been pretty good. Like defensively, she has done a great job this season. Hasn't really had the chance to attack. This was probably her best match. Like not only this season, but in general, since she has been in Depor, because she's had a lot of injury troubles. So it hasn't really been easy for her. But I think I have to say that out of all the players that former Real Madrid players that have ended up in Depor, we've had Ana Valles as well. Like we had both Tacom goalkeepers. Ana Valles was extremely good that year at Depor. Like she was on fire. But Samara is probably my favorite.
Okay, so let's talk about the goal that we conceded first, right? Like Depor went into the lead first, and we were chasing the game for most of the part. and it was a sort of a weird goal, and I think that really showed the defensive communication and the defensive organization when you change a lot of these players. So Depor went ahead in the 36th minute via Francisca Lara, goal from very close range, but I think the goal began with a ball over the top on the right hand side. So Olga made a mistake failing to clear that. Then I don't know what Maria Mendes is doing when the opposition player is trying to charge to the byline. Doesn't close her down, concedes an easy cutback. The initial shot, Misa manages to save it, but then the right back is so narrow, so close to the other center back that nobody is covering up the far post. Not even the winger hasn't tracked back. The midfielder hasn't tracked that Lara at the far post, and it was a mess of a defensive organization. Like, what did you make of it, Kanita, when you saw that goal?
Yeah, it was a long ball from Depor's back, and like you said, Olga failed to clear that when it came there. So, she was up against Hainoa. Hainoa cooked her there. Honestly, she just Olga couldn't do anything. She just stumbled there. I don't know what. I was so surprised, and everyone like pulled to the center of the box. Like you mentioned, Mendes. No one was even watching Francisca. It's everyone pulled to the near post. I don't know what's going on. Like, and when they saw Barbara Latora getting the ball, they would just go, "Oh, right, let's go on Barbara," and everyone left Lara there. Why? I mean, she was right there, and I don't know. It's typical. Honestly, it's usually this kind of. Uh, like a counter attack where our fullback gets cooked, or a set piece that we concede. This is so typical. And it's like, we were losing for the majority of the game, right? So yeah, it was frustrating to see. And the thing that we actually had, like, we were playing on Depor's final third, like 48% of the passes in the first half were going on in Depor's defending third, and this was very frustrating to watch. Like, we fell back after that while trying to do something ourselves. It's just a bola punha in this is so random in Portuguese. When you try so much and you don't the ball doesn't enter the goal, and then the rival just comes there and gets it in instead. That's a bola punha. It's like a punishment, of the ball. So yeah, just a fun fact.
Isa, what did you think of the first goal that you guys scored? Like, there was a defensive complete mess up from Madrid, but what were your thoughts as a Depor fan, like watching watching all of that unfold right in front of your eyes? What did you make of that?
The start, I thought the ball was like out. I'm not gonna lie. I still don't know if it was out or not. So I wasn't really paying much attention at first. So then when I know I got the ball and no one blew a whistle or anything, like, I started paying attention. And I know Marin is a really tricky player to defend. Like, she's really small. Her gravitation center is really low. So, and she's faster than she looks. Like, she has really short legs, but she's fast. And she's annoying to defend. So I wasn't really surprised that Maria Mendez struggled a bit there, because she body defends really well. I know she has a tendency to do that to defenders and to make them look clueless, even if it looks like she's doing nothing. She's actually doing something, and she just gets away from you really fast. But then when she crossed, like, that first shot from Barbara was so bad. Like, she totally took it wrong, and I
Yeah.
don't even know how that went in. Like, I feel Misa just assisted Pancharara. Like, the ball was going so slow towards Misa. I thought she was just gonna catch it, and suddenly the ball was in the net. Um, yeah, I was a bit like, oh my god, we scored. I couldn't really believe it. Like, if because if you really see the goal, Lara is really close to just putting it back to Misa, like instead of into the net. Yeah, I wasn't. I didn't really know how to react because we hadn't scored a goal in ages as well, and that was a weird, just a really weird sequence to score it. Like, I felt like Rocio was the one that did worse in that
I
play.
I think the entire backline was quite bad in that because uh, Olga missing up the initial clearance gets gets that move started basically. Then Maria Mendes not closing down on Ainoa there. That is another mistake. Then I don't know what is Antonia doing there. And Antonia throughout the game was very narrow and very close to the right center back, which I don't understand. And I think it is part because she's not really that sort of a right back. And I think we shouldn't really be using her that way because I don't know, like in that first goal that we conceded, she's going towards the near post. I don't understand that. Like I don't understand her movement at all. Like there is nobody like she has Francisca Lara in front of her and she decides to sort of close that down and she is when that move is also progressing, she is making a run through the central channel somehow. Like she operated a lot narrow than what I would have personally liked because we were dealing with a back five situation, and I think the only way you can probably break down a back five is to stretch them as much as possible horizontally, and fullbacks have to be the players who are hugging the sort of the touch line, but we did not get that with Antonia. But apart from that, like after this goal, I think Depor went into, protecting the lead sort of mode. Like they went into and sort of trying to defend and seeing this game out because, taking a one goal lead at your home and, with the side that hasn't started some of their best creators as well. And I think that struggle really showed for Real Madrid because we were attempting aimless crosses. We had 41 crosses in the game, and most of them until we made the substitutions were aimless, right? Like we weren't able to find any targets because there was no target. Like Alba Redondo is not really that big of an aerial threat. Atenea coming into the box is not that big of an aerial threat. We don't have that aerial threat unless Bruun is starting. Yes, Moller is there, but still, like I think the best aerial threat in the side is Bruun, and she wasn't on the pitch. So, Kanita, what did you make of us trying to break down this Depor's back five until we actually managed to do it with a long sort of shot? What did you make of our approach before that?
Yeah, I think throughout the entirety of Muller's, being with this team, we've been saying that her like being in this kind of role of a number 10 is well, she is suited for it. However, I know that I've mentioned it specifically with Alba Redondo. It doesn't make sense. First of all, they don't have the synergy, these two between each other. Second of all, Alba Redondo was the target in the box, while we had Muller out and about everywhere else, but in the box. Which I love seeing Muller do her own thing. However, it was a bit pointless. It was like I said, we changed the whole idea. We actually stuck with the same idea, which we would do with a completely other lineup. However, we did these like seven weird changes in the lineup. We stuck with the same idea, but the players don't do that idea. Don't work with that idea. You mentioned that how Antonia doesn't work with this idea, and it's the same with Moller and Redondo together. Listen, it would be a different story, I think, for me if Bruun started instead of Redondo. They have a little more synergy, right? And first of all, Eva Navarro, Muller was going wider than Eva, and Eva would never go return the ball wider than she was. She would never do that, and Muller would go behind her to go wider than Navarro and expect her to pass to her and do the combination. She would never do that. That's not what Eva does. Like I've seen it on the other side as well. Muller did that. So the idea was off.
The the funny thing was like both of our front two, Redondo and Moller, were deeper than our wingers. So like Redondo was used as a number 10 in one of the previous games.
Sevilla, yeah.
And I don't know if that is something that she's carrying forward, if she was expecting Moller to do what Bruun did by being the target player, because neither of them are that. And I think that really showed. In the first half, out of the 41 crosses that we attempted in this game, the first half had 28 of them. So we really had no clue about how to break that back five down, because with no Mole, with no Weir, with no Linda Caicedo on the pitch, we really struggle in creating from open play. No Toletti as well on the pitch. We really struggle to make those combinations and try to break them down. But yeah, I think Isa, what did you make of our attacking approach? Like, I know before we started recording, we were talking about how many aimless crosses were there from Real Madrid. But what did you make of that approach in general? And do you think that changed when the substitutions came on the pitch?
Oh, I think at first you were just playing in helping Depor, like playing into the way they can defend well, like playing into their defending, putting a lot of crosses from random places. That's great for Depor. The only way they know how to defend is box defending. Like you have a back line that's consists of a fast center back and two very slow center backs that are really good on the air. So basically, the only thing Depor does on defense is like just head away the ball, head away the ball, head away the ball. If you are going into the other side, like Raquel Garcia is quick in anticipation, she's fast, and she just gets the ball away from you. Like, so yeah, every time Olga was just crossing the ball inside the area, either Marina Artero or Vera Martinez were taking the ball away with their head. So that really helped Depor to maintain that lead they got. And in the second half, at first it was kind of like that. Then when Linda Caicedo came on, it really changing, because Depor players were more tired as well, so it was more harder for them to help Samara. So yeah, there the synergy of the defense like went out the window. So you could see like more mistakes that weren't there previously. So yeah, for me, I think that the first approach was wrong, just helping a team that doesn't have uh, uh, fast defenders, just crossing into them, that helps them. And then when there was more space, they started to struggle more. There were even sometimes that Vera Martinez, there was a ball in space and she won't even try and run for it, because she knows she's aware she's really slow, so she doesn't really get out of position. Like the Depor's defense doesn't really go forward. It's a low block. It stays low. The goalkeeper also stays all the time on under the sticks. Like, she's a really good shot stopper, but she doesn't really come out to get balls. And yeah, that actually, and it's like a death sentence in the sense, if you combine a team that isn't really physical and gets tired at the end of games with a defense that doesn't really defend on the run or tries to anticipate. So yeah, if you mix that with the pace of Linda Caicedo and the quality of Caroline Barr, it's just a recipe for disaster. So it was eventually coming to that when Toril made the changes.
And it's a great point that you mentioned, Isa, because I was looking at the numbers and the point about defending deep and sort of clearing the ball and us putting aimless balls in. Uh, Depor actually made 35 clearances in the first half, which is what goes on to show that they were really good at and comfortable at defending their box, which is what they wanted to do, and we played right into their hands because we did not have some good open play creators like Linda Caicedo and Caroline Weir who were on the bench in this game at the start. So yeah, I mean it's interesting how that worked out and how the game changed when we made those substitutions, when we brought senior Bruun on, when we brought Caroline Weir on, and we scored the equalizing goal via Olga. You know, uh, sort of a lucky goal, you can say, but again, like sometimes you need that bit of fortune. So Olga scored in the 79th minute, I guess. 79th minute she scored from a corner just outside the box. And more than the goal, like it obviously took a deflection which took it away from the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. I think the important part for me in this goal is something that I wanted to talk about and that probably have missed uh in the last few times that Olga has been on the score sheet, but she is really clutch, right? Like we don't often give her credit for that, but just looking at, and I'll quickly read you guys how Olga's last few goal contributions have been and what they have meant for the game and for the team. So today she scored the equalizer. Against Badalona, she assisted the equalizer. Against Valencia, she scored the winner. Athletic Club, she scored the penalty, which was the opening goal of the game. Against Sporting, she actually assisted the winner from Melanie Leopolds. That was the winner. She assisted that. Against Huelva, she scored the opener. Against Granada, she had an assist. Against Sevilla, she again scored the winner. And like this is dating back to even last season. This is just I'm just listing out games where she had a goal or an assist for the club, right? Like except for that Granada game where her assist came in that 5-0 win. In every single time that she has assisted or scored, it has either been an opening goal, a winner, or an equalizing goal. If you date that back to the national team last year in the World Cups, the player that scored the winning goal in the semifinal for Spain and the winning goal in the finals was Olga, right? Last season, you look at that Chelsea game, the player that scored both of our goals was Olga. So, this is something that has sort of become a part of her game. Like she can commit mistakes, but the reason that she adds value to us on the pitch, she can make those errors, she can have defensive lapses, but it is this her ability to step up in these big moments that has probably led her into being selected into the FIFA Pro 11 as well. Like that has probably influenced that decision because whenever she gets on the score sheet, whenever she assists a goal, it's almost always an important one, right? Like she has the ability to come up with these big moments. So, what do you think of Olga's ability to be clutch in different situations, Kanita?
Yeah, I mean, she always takes our penalties. So, like, she always takes that upon herself. I mean, she has this great sense of leadership, right? She's our first captain this season and all that. So that's really surprised at all this. The when we talk about direct goal contributions, obviously she's been clutch always. And I mean, this season, you've a lot of these goals you've mentioned have been this season. And you can just say, I mean, whatever we say, there's been some mistakes from the beginning of the season or whatever, but whenever it comes to when it really when we really need it, she's there. She's just right there, and she can score these bangers as well. She scored one this year. It was very, very similar to this one against Depor. It wasn't a deflection though, but it was very similar. And yeah, I mean, it's basically, a routine for her at this point. I really appreciate her, man. It's just crazy. And yeah, I guess now we know why she's in Fifth Pro of 11, right?
Yeah, I think definitely the thing is like this is what makes her a net positive, even in the games where at the start of the season we mentioned, and in this game as well, if you look at her defending for that first goal, that was really bad. But the thing is like she can come up with these moments. It's like having, when Marcelo was on the men's side, that is the best example I can think of. You accepted the defensive flaws because it's a player who can come up with big attacking moments, right? And who can change the game entirely. And I think Olga has sort of got that gene in her right now, and everything she does in these sort of clutch situations comes through. And I think that is a big thing for the club as well. So I mean, I'm pretty happy with what happened and how she has been. But I think another player that we have to talk about, and then we have talked about in the previous game. And Isa, I'll take your thoughts on it because I know you have like seen her away from Real Madrid as well. You have seen her with Denmark. You have seen her in France as well. Senior Bruun, right? A player that whenever she's on the pitch, she just changes the game, right? Like she's such an influential figure. In this game, she came off the bench, scored a goal, provided an assist. Against Celtic, she had a brace. Sevilla as well, she had one goal and one assist. With Iceland, she scored two goals against them. And with Twente, she had one goal, one assist once again. So, this is a player that is on some stupendous run of form. And this is something, it feels like she is fulfilling a prophecy, something that she was touted to become at an early stage of her career before she started picking up injuries. She was this very clinical striker who can score lots of goals from different angles, from different sort of situations. And I think she is now sort of coming through in this setup. Isa, what have you made of when she came on? I think those crosses, those aimless crosses from Real Madrid started to find thread, because if you look at the assist that she provided for Redondo, it is a cross that is not going anywhere. She just jumps, she tries to control it, and keeps it in danger, and it's Redondo who rushes and scores from that, right? So Isa, what did you think of Bruun's performance in this game, and how did you think she impacted and made life difficult for Depor when defending?
I have to be honest, when you guys tied the match, I stopped caring what happened. Like I knew we were gonna lose, so I didn't care anymore. I have like some memories of some things, but no, I can't really remember Bruun apart from the goal that Alba Redondo scored. Like, yeah, I mean, I have to be honest. I am very tired today. Like I had quite a day. I had quite a day yesterday as well, having to work. So it was taking a lot of my energy to watch that match. So when Olga scored and I saw it's the 79th minute, I told my friend who I was commenting the match with, we are gonna take three more goals now. So I'm just gonna start doing other things while the match is there. So yeah, I think in the that play from the goal, I really saw that one. The cross was bad. Um, Bruun just like uh, took it out of the air really well. I also feel like there was not really a mistake there, but it was really unlucky because like Marina was there, but she was wrong-footed from
Mm,
and she couldn't make the clearance. I personally think that ball is for the goalkeeper to go and get
yeah,
before it gets to Alba Redondo. Like it goes in a slow motion. The goalkeeper had all the time in the world to get there, but she doesn't come out. She's not good on the air. She doesn't trust herself. So it is what it is. I can talk about Signe Broom if you want. Like I was a fan. Like uh
yes,
of the OG. Like when she was at PSG, I was really a fan.
yes,
I was really impressed with her, but I feel like after PSG, her changing clubs, that decision really stole her game. Like she looked like a different player for me when she was first with Lyon and then at Manchester United. I really stopped enjoying watching her play. Like she didn't look to me like the player I like at PSG, who could like shot from everywhere, was good on the air, was really clutch, could even like play with another striker. Sometimes she played with Katoto. They did well together. But then she went to Lyon. She didn't start as much, and she was just a presence there. Like when she was playing for Lyon, I didn't really like. They wanted. I don't know if they wanted her to be another kind of a striker, just stay there and wait for the ball to come to you and don't do anything else. So when she came to Real Madrid, you could see she was like unsure at the start. Like
yeah.
her confidence wasn't really there. At first, you could really see the player that she was at Lyon and United, just a confused striker to say. I know that doesn't really make sense, but like she played like she was confused what she had to do. But once she started getting more confidence, when she started scoring, and now I see the same Bruun I did when she was at PSG. Like you said, it's like she found herself again, and I don't really get why people keep making fun of her. Like she was never a bad player. There's been a lot more bad players that at or worse players than her than are highly rated, like are considered great strikers. I'm not gonna name names, but I'm thinking about an Arsenal player or two.
Please take names. We want controversy.
No, I
No, but
mean, people say Alessia Russo, they hype her up a lot. I don't think she's any better than Broom, if I'm honest.
yeah, but this is what I wanted to ask you. Like Bruun at PSG, and I know you watched her. That is why I said that you have seen her in France as well. And Bruun at PSG was what I'm getting at. Like she was touted as a real big talent, like before that as well. She had the potential to score goals from every situation. She just knew where, the goal was whenever she got the ball. First time finish, headers, right-footed finish from outside the box as well. She had it all, right? And then she went to Lyon, that injury and all happened. She could not impose herself at Lyon because Ada Hegerberg was firing on all cylinders. Then she goes to Manchester United, which is a graveyard for every striker, like yeah, Bruun failed there. Then they have Turland now who's failing there. Russo had a decent season there, but again, like nothing spectacular as well. So, it has proved to be a place where strikers go and don't perform really that well. And then when she came to Madrid, I was pretty happy because I knew that, with a side like us who cross the ball a lot, and if she can just get her head to that, and she's really good at getting her head to those balls, she'll score a lot of goals, and she did, right? She scored a lot of goals, and now she is coming into her own properly. Like she is involved in the play. She has sort of become the most important part in attack, like to say the least. Like, You can have your Caroline Weir, you can have your Linda Caicedo, and they can change the game, yes, but the attack looks more functional when Senior Bruun is playing because she understands everybody around her much better, and everybody around her plays much better when she's the focal point in attack. So yeah, I mean, what do you think of that, Kanita? Like, do you agree with the assessment of Bruun and how she has been this season? What are your thoughts on her season so far?
I know in last episode we've listed her contributions, and I've also mentioned how not just the contributions, the synergy she has with the team, with both of her teams with Denmark as well that I mentioned, how she worked with Pernille Harder in the last international break against Iceland. I mean, she just gets her teammates. She got this role, like, she's a regular now since she came to Madrid, and it suits her. In this season she's really been on fire, man. Like, she has
Yeah,
been, our focal point in attack, and always, like, she came today, and the idea that I saw that we wanted to do, it was obvious what we wanted to do. We just, the players didn't get it, like I said beforehand, and she entered, and everything kind of clicked with these substitutions, and she knew when to go, when to pull back, when to get in the box to receive the crosses. In that assist she did, it was I think the cross was from Angel Da, like, really really long ball there,
yeah,
and like you said, it wasn't good. Just she took it, she lowered it. I always mention she lowers the goal kicks always of the rival, like, many many times. There were a few times this season that she lowered the goal kick, and it didn't ended in a goal for us. So yeah, she also starts these attacks a lot and chances by lowering balls. She's just in the like aerial threats, like, even if it's in midfield, if it's in the actual box. I'm Yeah, like you said, like, since we got her, we said, yeah, we have a striker that will be an aerial threat. We do have it, and she's been proving it, especially in the, like, past month or two, uh, every single game with goals and assists. Like, that's crazy.
yeah. She's in a really good form, and I think long may that continue. But yeah, I mean, the thing is that everything looks functional with her. The thing is, we have a focal point when she's on the pitch, and with a team that has that lacks a clear identity in possession. We don't have a clear structure with the way we build up. We often end up going long when teams try to press us. We don't try to fiddle with playing short passes and playing through them. We don't try that. We attempt a lot of crosses as soon as we enter into the final third. And in all these sort of lack of clear identity situation, having a striker like Bruun, who is of her stature, of her build, and how she's physically imposing, that really helps because you can make a bad cross and Bruun would still convert that into a half chance by getting her head to it, and you would feel, oh fuck, Bruun should have scored. And that is the situation. Like, that is what Bruun does on the pitch. Even if she's missing chances, she's still half of those chances won't exist if it wasn't for Bruun. Like with Alba Redondo, that those chances won't come into picture that we are discussing right now. So, that is the thing. Like, I think Bruun is clearly the best striker in our squad, at least at the moment, and I think she should be the first choice clearly. And we have discussed this multiple times, but yeah, I mean, she's been proving time and again with every single game that how impactful and how influential she can be for the side. So yeah, I mean, that is about it. Like, also we mentioned that there was a lot of quality on the bench, a lot of those players who came in, like I think all the substitutions that we made, these attacking ones, Bruun, Weir, and Caicedo, they were involved in all the four goals that we scored. So it was a game changing bench, and that is what they did. They came on and they changed the game, and that is what you expect from your bench players, to have that sort of impact. And I think we saw that in this. Before we close the game, let's do the normal tradition of, choosing MVP of the match. Isa, would you like to participate in that? Would you like to nominate a player on the pitch that you were most impressed with?
Do I have to have an answer to that?
No, not really. If you're if you don't want to, that's fine.
I don't know. I don't think anyone was an MVP in this match, if I'm honest. But
Okay, which was
you don't mean me to pick a Depor player, right? Just
no, it's
a
fine, it's
player
fine.
Pretty
in
much.
general.
It's
Oh
fine.
no,
Like
because it's really hard to pick a Depor player from this match. Like I would
no, which
say, one or either Samara Ortíz or Francisca Lara were the only ones that could go for MVP at Depor. Um, I mean, Samara didn't really do anything wrong because she went off before everything went down. So yeah, I would say Samara. But
it was some
from
other substitution
from
that changed the game.
from Real Madrid, from the starting lineup, I have to say I didn't like a single performance. I'm sorry.
So,
I really like Feller today. I have to say. I think
yeah,
she really I think she hurt us the most. Her presence hurt us the most. So I think I'm gonna go with Feller.
yeah, I think she was quite good. I mean, she always does that, With Feller, you always know that you are going to get at least a seven sort of performance whenever she comes on the pitch. And she gives it her all in attack and defense. She is a proper two-way threat. We have spoken about this multiple times. Who do you pick, Isa? Sorry, Kanita.
Oh yeah,
It's 320, guys. I am really
yeah. No, I do agree with this on one sentiment that our starting lineup was a mess. Yeah, I wonder why, seven changes, cough, cough. But I don't know. Honestly, I will go to, yeah, I don't know, Weir. I'll go Weir. She played 30 minutes. She had two assists as well. So she assisted twice today. And yeah, she started. As soon as she started, we immediately saw the triangles and the organization in the midfield and everything. And yeah, with her presence on the pitch, yeah, I'll say Weir.
okay. I think I'm going to pick Bruun because I think her presence on the pitch really sort of gave our meaningless crosses and gave our attacks a sense of direction, sort of, and I think that really helped us. So we have three different picks for MVP of the match. So I don't know who is going to get it, but yeah, I guess one of Weir or Bruun probably would be the pick. But yeah, that brings us to the end of the pod. And I would just like to thank Isa once again for being here, for making time. I know you've been really, uh, busy with your work every single day, and you've been very tired all the damn time. But yeah, thank you for making time to come on this pod and share your insights about Depor.
Thank you for having me. This was really fun. I do have to apologize if I sounded like more confusing than usual because like my brain is a bit fried up. So I was talking at some point and my mind was like, am I even making any sense? I don't think so, but let's just keep going. So yeah, thank you guys.
Let me just say you made perfect sense with every
Yeah.
single thing that you said about every single player and the team that you support. So yeah, thank you for sharing your valuable insights and bringing a different perspective on this pod. And lastly, I would like to thank each one of our listeners Thank you for listening to us. And I have to just remind you guys that the previous pod uh, was a members only pod. So, if you want to listen to it and to the next one, which is against Chelsea, that will probably also be a members only pod. And we are going to have a guest for that pod as well, most probably. So, if you want to listen to all these member pods and have different benefits about getting to ask us questions, getting to have these special pods drop into your feed as well, please do consider subscribing to Managing Madrid's Patreon. It's patreon.com/Managing Madrid. It's your support that makes it all possible for us. And we would like to once again thank everyone who listens to us on a regular basis, who comments on the YouTube videos. We do read them all. We are trying to incorporate every single suggestion that you guys make, and we are trying to improve this pod to the best of our abilities to bring you the best Real Madrid content possible. So, yeah, thank you for listening to us. And until next time, Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.